Welcome to my designer class. My name is Mercy and I sell Stampin' Up! Products. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I made these cards using the Sentimental Rose, and these are alternate ideas. So to start with, we will be making this card, and one of the things I noticed with the instructions is how they did this. They stamped right onto this paper, which would be this, which is included. And I thought it would be fun to kind of duplicate that a little bit. So we're going to be doing a little bit of sponging. So I will bring in the items I made for sponging. First, you want to be able to protect your work surface, and it's actually pretty easy to use this foam pad. And then the second thing I recommend is bring a piece of paper in that looks similar for the kind of look you want to go for. So I will get my ink pads ready. Mint Macaron, Flirty Flamingo, and the Saffron. So to start with, I'm going to start with the Mint Macaron, and I'm going to just get a nice little blend here going of color, and I'm going to make this fairly soft. You can make it bolder if you want, so that's probably good enough for now. And then I'm going to do kind of a little bit of the Flirty Flamingo here, and you can see how you can actually kind of definitely duplicate this pretty easily and not spending a lot of time. I'm definitely not spending a lot of time on this, so it's pretty cool. And then I'm just going to kind of randomly sponge across here, and then eventually we will be stamping over top. And this is, some people call this the bandana technique, but whatever it is, just have fun with it. And also you can not be too concerned over the colors getting muted that you stamp over, because you're going over top of this, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're almost done here. And I will just add a little bit more Flirty Flamingo here, because I love that color. Okay, so just a nice little variety there. Okay, we'll get these out of the way so I'm not putting my hands in them. That has happened. Okay, so to stamp, you can, if you want to duplicate their kind of sample a little bit, you would use the little ink spot that's included, which is the gray granite. And I'm just pushing down here so that my stamp isn't over inked. If you have it over inked, it will really look fuzzy. And if what I'm looking for is anything that's like kind of beating up, that is definitely not something we want. Okay, so I want a bit of every color. So just going to stamp that, and you can see all the colors coming through. Isn't that cool? And then for my sentiment, I'm going to bring in the Calypso coral, and we're going to stamp thank you. So this, again, I want to try to, well, it's a little close here, so we'll just go for 2 colors. And you could probably get a second one out of here too. And I ran it through the Big Shot already. I did prepare one earlier because I didn't want to bring in my Big Shot. It's definitely kind of a clunky thing. But I just wanted to show you how you could kind of duplicate that, and how pretty it really is. The flower and with the stamped in the background. So we will assemble our card. Here is our base, and I did want to mention also that I use the Subtle Dynamic folder. And what I do for this is I put my cardstock in, and I kind of overlap it just a little bit. I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit overlapped there. It won't matter in the back, but if you're short, that is a problem. And then I ran it through the Big Shot. So imagine that we're doing that. And it was super quick, right? Okay, so I did quite a bit of things here, including using my twine, which is super easy. And I also, with my card, the original one I used so Saffron, and then I did a little bit of sponging. Now, tone on tone won't show as much, but we may as well do a little bit. And it'll just give it a little bit more of an antique look or distressing. And this is a super fun, easy technique to add a little extra color and draw your eye. It creates kind of a little border, if you will. Love doing that. So much fun. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to quickly adhere these two together, and then we'll start with wrapping the twine. This is my third paper pumpkin for this month, alternate ideas. So this will probably be my last because for one thing, I'm running out of supplies in my kit, which is a great thing. I'm actually using it. This was probably the most fun, easy paper pumpkin that I've worked with in a long time. So I really enjoyed it. All right, so I'm just gonna hold this back here and start wrapping. And I wrapped 3 rounds. So here we go. And all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to tape it back here. So I'm going to bring in my tape here. So it's, I think my son might have gotten into this tape. He probably thought it was fun to play with. He's 6 years old, and that's just the sort of thing he would find pretty amusing. Oh well, that's a child for you, right? Joys of tape. Tape is kind of fun to play with, I have to admit. All right, so we'll now start assembling. As I was saying, I did cut out one, and I'm trying to locate it. Shoot, I'm not seeing it right now. So we will quickly fussy cut this one, and we will use this one. I am not sure where I put that. Oh well, good thing we have this one. It does fussy cut out really quickly. If you're concerned about fussy cutting, don't be. It's super quick. Basically, you want the paper, move the paper more than your scissors when you're fussy cutting. It will work better. And I still keep thinking I'll find that. I don't know what happened to that. Oh well. Oh, it's right here. I am super silly. See? Super silly today. All right, so we'll just add a few dimensionals on this one. I cannot believe myself that I just had that right there in front of me and didn't see it. Oh my. Okay, so maybe, yeah. I think I'll go ahead and attach this right away. That would probably be a good idea. So it tends to want to pop up over here. And one of the things I ended up doing was to add a glue dot. So I think I'll do that right now, just so I'm not trying to add it after the fact, because it kind of had a way of wanting to pop up. So we'll just add one in the center here, just to make sure. All right, so I put this on crooked intentionally. Now the key with crooked is to make it look intentional. You don't want it too, kind of a little bit crooked looks unintentional. So I kind of look here and here and here and here and kind of match those, if that makes sense. So I will do a quick dry layout here. Bring in some of my pieces. Here is this is what's included in the paper pumpkin kit. I think it's just adorable. It's a little, actually, maybe I should add one dimensional here. I think that's what I did. Just so, because that twine will raise it up on that one side. Let's see if we can manage this. Yes, this will work out quite nicely. And there we go. And then here, we're just going to tuck the leaves in behind it. If I can get the dimensionals off. So I kind of feel like this point should be like here. And there we go. And I have this very colorful thank you. And here, this one I stamped with, you don't have to color the back, by the way, that I kind of messed up with because I put my dauber in the wrong color. And that is not a good idea. All right, so anyhow, that's why I had the back colored. This is stamped with the Calypso coral. So here we got the leaves. So I hope you enjoyed this little idea of mine to color the background and then stamp. It's kind of exactly what the Paper Pumpkin kit shows in a way, but if you do not want to go through all of your papers that they included, these really pretty designer papers, that is one way to quickly make your own, and it's really quite easy and simple. So the final little leaf we're going to do is going to be with dimensionals. So I'm going to pop a few on here. And I'm just trying to position this to see how I want it. Yeah, I think I can have dimensionals on all of them. I wasn't completely sure if with that twine, if it would interfere. That's what I was checking anyhow. And we will next be making the other card, which we will vary quite a bit because I always think it's fun to kind of experiment and see different colors. Ooh. I kind of want to tuck this in a little bit. All right, so there we have it. Quickly close up my glue, bring in the original card, and I realize now that I did not put one of these adorable little epoxy drops, I guess they are, on here. So you can see it's a little different with the stamped with Calypso coral. I don't know which one you like better. But super easy, quick, and a fun way to make an alternate. So next I will bring in our card that we're going to work on. So with this one, we're going to, as I was saying, we're going to make quite a bit differently. We're going to use our Berry Burst cardstock, and we're going to do stamp in Berry Burst as well. So we're also going to do the leaves in the Lemon Lime Twist. And Lemon Lime Twist is going to be retiring as well as Berry Burst. But Lemon Lime Twist is like my favorite of all the in colors, hands down, for the ones that are retiring in particular. I'm excited about the new ones, but I'm very sad to see Lemon Lime Twist say bye-bye. And hopefully, I'm hoping, and maybe even praying, that they will bring it back sometime, at some point. Stampin' Up! Will. So I'm probably going to be hanging on to my stamp pad for that very reason. Now, these note cards, I am using the half of the note card. It's not this one, but you get the idea. And then this is the other half, and you can stamp right on it. So you are not wasting anything by doing this alternate. All right, so first thing I want to do is make sure that I push down on my stamp pad so it's not over inked. I can't emphasize this enough. With these distinctive stamps, you do not want it over inked. If you do, it beads up and it looks all blotchy and terrible. So that is pretty good. Just double checking. And the other tip I have is definitely use a foam pad. It will help you get a better impression if you use one of these piercing mats. So that is our flower, and of course, what is some demonstrators say, through the magic of TV. I've already done that and die cut it. So here it is, and unfortunately, I also realized I took off the backing. So we'll have to just put that down really, really lightly. And then one other thing I forgot to show is the little center. So this center I borrowed it from the Beautiful Bouquet set. So if you're wondering about that. And then the other thing I didn't show was stamping the leaves, but you can already see I've done it. But the same thing, if your ink pad is like showing a lighter color, it's probably not too saturated. So I won't bother pushing down, and that's how it will look. And I could get even one more flower probably in here and then more leaves if I wanted to, which I probably will do, but not right now. Okay, so I use the Stitch Rectangle framelit dies, and I used like 3, 4 of them. And for this one particular card, and I also use Thank You from here, just because. So for this particular card, I use the largest, the second largest, and then the long skinny ones, this largest one and the smallest one. So I will continue to show you how I made this card, and that bugs me that I took those off. I don't know why I did that. So here is our base, and we will go ahead and pop these out. Imagine I ran this through the Big Shot, and you can see very, very, very little waste. Look at that. That's all. That's the only waste from it. So you have to position it carefully. That is really, and then of course here's our black card base, our matting with the large one. I'll just throw that out. So I will go ahead and adhere these two together, and then we will do the wrapping with the ribbon. Now I used with my first one the white satin ribbon with the silver edge, and this one I'm going to use the Berry Burst with the silver edge, which is the same type of ribbon but just a different color, obviously. Okay, so not too many differences, but the color is definitely going to be a little louder on this one. And if you like loud, then maybe you'll like this one better. All right, so what I did here is bring back my tape. I'm going to bring back in my tape, and what I did was I kind of wrapped it in 2 spots. We're going to end up having to cut. Yeah, that's not too much. Actually, I did it higher up. That's right. So you want to hold both of them kind of at the same time so that you get the right tension. All right. All right. Okay, we'll just try for this. I'm not quite doing it perfectly, but we can adjust a little bit with the masking tape as needed. So then I want to kind of mimic the amount. So this one's gonna be right about here. We're gonna put that down, and I do need to adjust this one slightly. So just gonna simply lift it and then put it back. Okay, that's pretty good. So it just draws your eye, and it's a little different to do that way opposed to straight across. And we're always looking for ideas to kind of just change things up, if you will. So that was my thought behind that. And it will definitely create a beautiful accent. This is the silver foil. The original one I'm using up in the fall catalog. It's a retired, it was what was it? It wasn't as shiny, the metallic foil. It was it's really beautiful. I wish they had carried it over. Ooh, this is really cool. The Berry Burst. I don't know. I thought for sure I would prefer the other, but now, wow. That's all I can say. Yeah, that is bold and bright. All right, so I'm going to put this a little more towards the top. And I just want to center this So you kind of just see a little bit of the stitching, and then I want to make sure that I get this straight as possible. Okay, so far so good. And here, because I have those off already, all I have to do is put it down. And again, I kind of look for this little pointed leaf as my guide. There's no right or wrong way though. And then we're just going to add these little leaves that are with my favorite color, Lemon Lime Twist. So, what do you think? Isn't that bold and bright? For sure. So all that we have left is the sentiment, and I've already stamped it and heat embossed it so that I could use black. That's if you want to use the colored cardstock. Other than light, you definitely probably want to consider heat embossing so that you can do that. Would allow for that. So here we go. I'm just gonna quickly center this, and this is super easy. You just center it so that you see that stitching, but that's about all. And it wants to slide around on me. It will dry on foil, but it just takes a little bit longer to dry than a regular cardstock. Sorry about that. That was kind of in the way. And I'm just going to kind of attach it more or less. Not attach it, but slip it under here. Oh, my other one, that's right, I put it up on dimensionals, but this one we'll just do the tombow. Okay. So I'm not going to stamp inside this time, but I love stamping inside. I think it really adds to the card. So here's the original. And then I will bring back in my other cards here and here. So I don't know which one you prefer, but this is definitely bold and bright. Wow, I'm gonna miss Berry Burst. So if you haven't stocked up on your supplies, you should definitely do that. These are other cards that I made earlier in my other tutorials. Please check those out. You can see, really cute. I have one here. I know you can't see everything on the screen. So this one, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. This is with Melon Mambo. In my tutorial, I used the one with Highland Heather. So you can see I made a couple more of these after my tutorial and thought it would be fun to change colors a little bit. Anyhow, thank you again so much for watching, and please check back often. I do a lot of tutorials, and I would love to see more people subscribe. I really enjoy making them, but it really helps if I get feedback, etc. So if you would like to place an order, please email me at mewants3@gmail.com, and happy stamping.